hurling, and it proved to be no less than that. Your commentator at the Gaelic grounds in Limerick is Marty Morrissey.
Despite their huge victory over the Banner County 4 weeks ago, the Limerick selectors have made several changes. The defence, which conceded only 1-5 to Clare, remains intact, but Mike Rail, number 9, is named as Ger Hegarty's partner at midfield, allowing Anthony Carmody to wear the number 10 jersey and thereby join his fellow parishioners, Gary Kirby and Pat Davern, who was introduced as a substitute against Clare, in a formidable and creative half-forward line. Munster and All-Ireland champions Tipperary make their first appearance in this year's championship. Despite the absence of Conor O'Donovan and John Kennedy from the first 15, this Tipperary team has all the credentials necessary for a championship-winning combination. In the full-back line, Colm Bonner is the most interesting choice at right corner-back, where he links up with Noel Sheehy and John Heffernan. Bobby Ryan returns to his favourite position at centre-back, but it is the Tipperary forward line that looks exceptionally talented. Willie Horgan from the Brian Dillon's club in Cork refereeing this clash between Tipperary and Limerick, and even before the whistle is blown he already has to caution the two midfielders there, Mike Rail and Joe Hayes. A warm, gentle summer breeze blowing down from the hills of County Clare here at the Gaelic grounds in Limerick as Tipperary try and defend the All-Ireland title that it took them 18 years to win. An electric atmosphere at the Gaelic grounds as Limerick, with Don Flynn, the centre half-back, sending it up towards his corner forward there, Shane Fitzgibbon, and immediately referee Willie Horgan accuses the Limerick man of fouling the Tipperary right corner-back Colm Bonner, and a free out to Tipperary. Conal Bonner, one of 3 brothers playing for Tipperary today, into Nicholas English, and just to the right and wide. He had to kick it in rather than get his hurley to it, but it certainly was a golden opportunity for Tipperary. The long ball dropped into Nicholas English and just to the wrong side of the post. A very warm afternoon, and certainly, as you can see in the background, the Gaelic grounds in Limerick packed to capacity. Gary Kirby scored 7 points against Clare, and that's his first point of this Munster Championship semi-final. Tommy Quaid's lengthy puck-out drops down inside the Tipperary 45-metre line. This is Joe Hayes, captain for the day from Clonouty Rossmore. Showing some nice skill. Referee waving play on. Comes down towards Michael Cleary from Nina. Colm Bonner inside, and Tommy Quaid, a magnificent save. Nicholas English is there, and Limerick survive, but only just. Declan Ryan, referee is blowing his whistle, and he's giving a free to Tipperary on the 20-metre line. Well, what a save by Tommy Quaid. It was eventually cleared by Joe O'Connor, but surely there Tipperary could have penetrated the Limerick defence. Nicholas English to equalise the match, and that's exactly what he does after 4.5 minutes of play. Line ball for Limerick. Farmer from Kilmallock, Mike Houlihan, brilliantly cut by Bobby Ryan, intercepted by Mike Rail, up to Kieran Carey, getting inside, John Heffernan, well hooked by Bobby Ryan, still Carey, showing some nice skill, can he finish it? Yes! And Limerick stretch their lead to 2 points. The young lad from Patrickswell scored a point against Clare, and he's done it again against Tipperary. Fine, lengthy puck out by Tommy Quaid. Ger Hegarty getting there first. Terence Kenny getting his first real touch of the afternoon. Noel Sheehy staying alongside. Nobody outside for Terence, but Terence has a go. Oh, magnificent point! Well, I really didn't think he was going to do it, but Terence Kenny has certainly got his gander up, as they say, and that is a magnificent score. Well, Limerick mentors looking on anxiously, and they certainly must be pleased so far. Paul Delaney trying to find Nicky English. Drops inside to Pat Carey. Coolness personified, gives it to Ger Hegarty, and the Limerick crowd responds to the fine hurling by the Shannonsiders. Break comes down to Shane Fitzgibbon. Can he make up for the error a moment ago? It is a definite point and a definite yes. Shane Fitzgibbon the daddy of the side, still in his early 20s, and Limerick stretch their lead even more. Good hurling by Don Flynn. Knocks it down, but Paul Delaney accepts the break. Mike Rail, and these Limerick lads are playing with all their heart, I can assure you. Rail dropping it in towards Terence Kenny. Noel Sheehy is there as well. Terence Kenny gathers it. Break comes out, back to Kenny. Calling outside is Kieran Carey. And Kenny sends it high and over the bar. If the first 13 minutes are anything to go by, Tipperary are going to have a hard battle here because Limerick are playing brilliantly. The ball broke down. Terence Kenny's attempted shot at goal was blocked. Shane Fitzgibbon managed to get it back out towards him. There was Kieran Carey loose calling for it, but Kenny, his confidence sky high at the moment, sent it high and straight over Ken Hogan's crossbar. Ken Hogan dropping it down, and Mike Barron guilty there of hitting Cormac Bonner off the wall, and referee Willie Horgan saw the challenge, and he's taking his number and putting his name into the book, and he's sending him off. Mike Barron is gone off this Munster Championship semi-final. The ball was breaking inside and he hit Cormac Bonner. Just have a look at this again. A controversial moment after 16 minutes of play in this Munster Championship semi-final. Limerick down to 14 men as Nicholas English scores Tipperary's 4th point. 6 points to 4, but definitely controversy reigns at the Gaelic grounds. Many, many times in the past it has happened, and it is well recorded, that teams with only 14 men often perform heroically. But when you're playing the All-Ireland champions in a Munster Championship semi-final, well then, boy, have you got a challenge on your hands. This is Mike Rail, John Leahy nipping in as Tipperary used the extra man to narrow the gap to just 1 point. Don Flynn with this free, son of Donny Flynn, the selector on this Limerick side. Shane Fitzgibbon, good score. A very dangerous corner forward, and Limerick stretch now their lead to 2 points. Anthony Carmody moved out around the centre of the field now, try and maintain advantage as Gary Kirby tries to get inside Bobby Ryan. Still Kirby is fouled and a free in for Limerick. You could actually see that coming as Bobby Ryan was finding the speed of Kirby difficult to cope with, and Limerick once again have another free. And there it is, the white flag, which means now that Limerick have 8 points to Tipperary's 5. Bobby Ryan in all sorts of difficulties, I feel, in the opening 23 minutes of this first half, with Gary Kirby playing there at centre forward. Going for point number 4, Gary Kirby puts it over the bar, and Limerick stretch their lead again. Paul Delaney has the height, and Tommy Quaid has to be satisfied to see it drop over his crossbar, and now there's just 3 points between the sides. Tipperary, Nicky English, with Mike Houlihan right beside him. 3 Limerick lads around the Tipperary star, and they are once again guilty of fouling Nicky English. And to be honest with you, the referee's decision's not being liked by the Limerick crowd. Declan Ryan scores his first point of the afternoon and says thank you very much to Nicky English. John Heffernan leaving it aside to Gary Kirby. And certainly if Limerick are going to be stopped, this man is going to have to be stopped because he's causing Tipperary endless problems at centre half forward. Already in this first half, 17 frees as Gary Kirby puts that over the bar and scores his 5th point of this championship semi-final. It's Cormac Bonner with 2 Limerick lads around him. This is Nicky English forcing his way through into John Leahy. Tommy Quaid is out and an almighty melee has developed, and referee has blown his whistle as Pat Fox and Don Flynn exchange rough words and action as well, and Tommy Quaid is down on the deck. Nicky English sent it into John Leahy. Tommy Quaid came out, so too was Joe Connor there. Leahy and Quaid between them got down, but it's very hard to know what exactly happened. An almighty melee. And back to the action, we have another melee here. Nicky English and midfielder there, Mike Rail. And this time referee Willie Horgan is putting the Limerick midfielder into his book. In fact, his left corner back Joe O'Connor that's being booked by the referee Willie Horgan. Well, Nicholas English with this opportunity, and now it's 11 points to 8. Just about 30 seconds left in normal time in the first half. Pat Davern, Bobby Ryan switched to right half back, sending a ball in towards Kieran Carey. Paul Delaney gets there first, doesn't quite hit it and clear it, and Kieran Carey, well, for this first half he's my hero undoubtedly for Limerick, but Bobby Ryan sends it down to his opposite number, centre half back Don Flynn, and referee is giving no extra time in this first half. And here at the Gaelic grounds in Limerick, the atmosphere is truly electric as the teams go off at half-time to their respective managers, Babs Keating and Liam O'Donoghue. But it has lived up to all the expectations, and at half-time, Limerick lead by 3 points, Limerick 11 points, Tipperary 8. And at half-time, Tipperary have introduced John Madden from Laura in place of John Heffernan, and he will take his position at left corner back. While up front, Dinny Ryan from Newport goes in at left corner forward, and going off is Cormac Bonner, and Nicholas English takes up duty right at the edge of the square. The second half of this Munster Championship semi-final. Limerick leading by 3 points. They're down 1 man, but they're playing with a slight wind advantage in the second half. Tommy Quaid's puck out right into the centre of the park. Joe Hayes getting a hurley to it, but this is Mike Rail coming through like a tornado, and what a start for Limerick! An excellent score. Limerick 12 points, Tipperary 8, and no doubt about it, but Limerick are here to win. Garda Basin Roscrea, Joe Hayes. This is Declan Carr. A great effort, which sails gently over the bar. A fine point by the Holy Cross Ballycahill man. Over to John Leahy. Switching play. Nicholas English and Pat Carey. English collects. Falling outside is Declan Ryan. He switches it to Dinny Ryan, the publican from Bird Hill. Being beaten there by Mike Houlihan. And Limerick battling every inch of the way. This is Joe Hayes giving it to Nicky English, who has to come out to collect. And you don't give space like that to a man called Nicky English. Limerick 13 points, Tipperary 11. Ger Hegarty from the Old Christians Club in the Jamesborough area of Limerick City. Kieran Carey just taking his eye off it for a moment. Noel Sheehy clearing it down towards Michael Cleary. And the Tipperary find of the year 1989 sweeps it up towards Pat Fox. John Leahy trying to get it out towards his corner forward, but Limerick there again. Mike Rail without a hurley. Joe Connor. This is Pat Fox giving it inside to Nicholas English. Tipperary in a dangerous position, sweeping it across to Declan Ryan. It's there! A goal for Tipperary! Declan Ryan from Clonoulty Rossmore has hit the back of the Limerick net. And this is how it came about. Nicky English again, sweeping a ball right across the face of Tommy Quaid's goal. Declan Ryan controlled it, and then bang, right into the net. Great goal. This is Declan Carr. Running into space is Declan Ryan. His confidence boosted now. And there he puts the icing on his own personal cake, as Declan Ryan now has a goal and a point to his credit. As Tommy Quaid takes the puck out, Liam O'Donoghue has switched Ger Hegarty back to centre half back to keep an eye on Declan Ryan. Linesman indicates it's a Limerick ball, referee says it's Tipperary's. Joe Hayes, Michael Cleary in fact it is, just inside the Limerick 65. It's a beauty. And Tipperary now are 3 points ahead of Limerick. The Limerick mentors must be wondering now, can their side respond to this enormous challenge? They're down by one man and down by 3 points. Gary Kirby to Kieran Carey. A point is what Limerick need, and they've got it. They're back in the hunt. 2 points between the sides. Tipperary 113, Limerick 14 points. And going off, Pat Davern, and coming in, Michael Galligan from the Clahon Club. And that 65 sent sweetly over the bar, restores Tipperary's 3-point lead. Michael Babs Keating talking anxiously there to his colleagues in the selection committee. Gary Kirby getting inside the Tipperary rear guard. Still Gary Kirby, and then with a shot brilliantly saved by Hogan. And Bobby Ryan comes out. For the first time, Gary Kirby got inside, but Colin Bonner did well, and then hit a shot which Ken Hogan responded to magnificently. Declan Carr to John Leahy. Michael Cleary inside. And there's plenty of Gaelic ground in front of him. And from that angle, it's no problem whatsoever to the man from Nina. Tipperary 118, Limerick 14 points. This is Colin Bonner going back and clearing the danger. Oh, magnificently gathered by Pat Fox, bearing down on the Limerick goal. To his left is Dinny Ryan. This must surely be it. And that is unquestionably it. Dinny Ryan, the publican from Bird Hill. There'll be drinks galore tonight. Because now, undoubtedly, Tipperary are through to the Munster Hurling final on the 15th of July. It was Pat Fox who really created it. It was a magnificent catch. And despite the best efforts of Ger Hegarty, Dinny Ryan was left all alone, and Tommy Quaid bravely coming out, but that's it, the back of the Limerick net. Gary Kirby going for goal, blocked down by Noshie, comes in again! Great goal! Boris Nelligan, the man who found the back of Ken Hogan's net. Ball coming in, they're waiting for it and pulling on it splendidly. In fact, it was Michael Galligan, and really Ken Hogan had no chance. And that's it, the final whistle blows on a day when Tipperary record their 3rd victory in a row over Limerick, on a day when Tipperary had numerical advantage for most of it after Mike Barron for Limerick had been sent off. But all credit due to Tipperary, the Munster and All-Ireland champions, battled their way forth to a Munster hurling final appearance on the 15th of July. They won today's Munster semi-final on a scoreline of Tipperary 2 goals and 20 points, Limerick 1 goal and 17.
Yeah, I think we were well prepared for Limerick to be probably a very tough challenge to us, you know. We came in to their home ground, they had already played a championship match, and I suppose in reality we haven't played since last September, and we had a few injuries coming into it with John Kennedy out and a few more people carrying injuries, so we were prepared for it, and I think Limerick really did put it up to us, you know.
Without a doubt, Marty, the sending off was a turning point because we had Tip well hurled at that stage and we were containing their forward line, but we had to reshuffle the complete back line as a result of the sending off, and we lost our composure there, but our lads battled on and I'm very proud of them.
We've learned an awful lot over the years, and we've learned enough to respect Cork. Any hurling enthusiast in Munster that will play Cork down is in cuckoo land. And I know, I've seen Tipperary, Cork and Tip since back to 1960. I know what Cork teams are able to produce, and I know what Cork underdogs are able to produce. If they beat us, we'll shake hands with them, but they won't surprise us.
I'm sure they certainly will not. Babs Keating there, looking forward to the Munster final. Right now, let me turn to our hurling guest for the night. That's John Henderson from Kilkenny. John, a good, tough match there, and I'm sure that Tipperary are well pleased to be out of Limerick.
Yes, it was a tough assignment for for Tipperary today to go into Limerick and to take on Limerick, who have been preparing and relishing the opportunity of playing Tipperary in their home ground. A good, tough match. I don't think the quality of play was up to Munster hurling standards, and there was some very nice points scored, and I think the sending off had a bearing as the game progressed. But overall, it was a very tough and dogged game. But, you know, with some very good scores taken.
Well, now, Limerick, of course, were very fired up going into this match, and they won themselves some very good early scores to really worry Tip.
That's right, yeah. Limerick's ply, as I could see it today, was that they attacked the Tip defence and carried the ball, took on the Tipperary and drew fouls. And with a free taker like Gary Kirby, you know, you can't do that. Here's an example of it where Gary takes on Bobby Ryan and just keeps going, knowing that he's going to get a free, keeps going, and eventually gets the result I think he wanted. Here's another example as well, where Kieran Carey again takes on the Tipperary defence, cuts inside, keeps going for the free, and I suppose in one sense Tipperary were a bit foolish to give away so, you know, free in that situation. But that seemed to be the Limerick ply today, to take on the Tipperary men, you know.
You mentioned the sending off. Liam O'Donoghue said that it had a big bearing on the game in the interview with him there, and there's no question that it had. Now, John, we're going to have a look at that again. It's very difficult to see exactly on the camera what happened, but nonetheless it was a turning point even that early in the match. Let's have a look at it again. Now, the normal action, John, we can't really see because Cormac Bonner has gone down at that stage, but notwithstanding the reason for it, referee Willie Horgan was very definite himself as to exactly what he wanted to do.
Yes, I think Willie Horgan made up his mind. It was very difficult for us to see it, you know, and he was quite clear in his mind what he wanted to do. Maybe he was afraid the game would get out of hand, and but it certainly had an effect. I think Limerick battled bravely and right up to half-time, and then Tipperary, once they got into the dressing room, had to rethink and brought in John Madden as a type of sweeper in front of the defence. And I think that steadied down Tipperary, who, you know, the Limerick full forward line were doing well in the first half and getting some very vital scores. But I think the sending off had, because as I say, as the game progressed, this was very early in the game to have a man sent off. Yeah. It's not as if it was into the second half. It was 16 minutes into the first half, and it's a long time to go with 14 men. And I think it just wore down Limerick, because they were really playing the game at a very fast pace.
Well, I'm sure a lot of Limerick supporters tonight will be thinking of the might-have-beens from this match, but I know you've been thinking of your man of the match selection, John. Who did you pick?
That's right. It was a very difficult game because, in ways, some players didn't really perform for the full hour. But the player that I really picked was Declan Ryan. He scored 1-4, and he showed the way for Tipperary at a time when they needed leadership. And I felt, you know, that he for me was the man of the match. Here's a fine example of a great point from the sideline, where Declan striking from the sideline, you know, I mean, that point shows the quality of the player he is. And also, he's involved in the goal. A good build-up here between Nicky English, where Declan Ryan, waiting on the edge of the square, a difficult ball still to put away, but he puts it away. And a good sign of a centre-forward to put himself on the edge of the square in a situation like that. As I say, he scored 1-4. There could have been many other men in the matches. I think, in fairness to Limerick, I'd like to mention Pat Carey and Kieran Carey, Mike Reel. Some of them had excellent games, but I felt that they didn't outstand the whole game. And that, for me, was the reason why I picked Declan Ryan, that I felt that he contributed well throughout the game.
John, thank you very much. For the moment, we might be talking to John later on in the programme, but right now we're going to take a commercial.